Did anybody not hear the question? Okay, a couple of, the question is he's under the assumption, he's wondering, would it be self-defeating to be somebody who would be a proponent of shutting down the government? Are we not playing into the hands, essentially, of Democrats with that thought process? I would say absolutely that would be the case, which is why not even a little am I a proponent of that. So if in anything that I've said I've left you with that impression, I don't know how I have done that. Because not even to the slightest degree am I a proponent of shutting down the government. Not even a little bit. In fact, I think our shutdown of it this past fall was so irresponsible because of the fact that we waited until the 11th hour and 59th minute before we even started to discuss it. That's one of the other things that's destroying this country, is that we have become so partisan. You go back to the founding of this nation, you look at a Hamilton and a Jefferson, these guys couldn't have disagreed with each other more on just about anything. You read the Federalist Papers, these guys were absolute adversarial opponents on political fronts and others. But what did they remember at the end of the day when they got together at the Constitutional Convention? They and others realized they weren't there to represent their own ideas or those of their party, but rather of the people they were there to serve. And now in Washington, and we saw it even in more recent years, a lot of people remember Ronald Reagan. Those in this room remember him appropriately with a lot of fondness as a man who was able to get things done. A man who made incredible changes to the financial landscape of this country coming out of the Carter years. And what a lot of people seem to have forgotten, though, is that in the 8 years that Ronald Reagan was president, the House was controlled that entire time by Democrats. Led, incidentally, by a remarkably liberal Democrat in the form of Tip O'Neill. But at the end of the day, the reason things got done was because Ronald Reagan, a staunch conservative on one end, and Tip O'Neill, a staunch liberal on the other end, remembered ultimately at the end of the day that they were there not to serve their party, but they were there to serve the people. And that's something that we are missing. We have way too much partisanship in Washington. And it shouldn't be a function of, the Democrats are this, therefore the Republicans have to be opposed to it, or vice versa. It's got to be what is in the best interest of this country. Shutting down this government is ridiculous. There is a purpose for government. There is a purpose for government. I'm a former active duty Army officer. I understand that one of the primary roles of the federal government is to defend this nation. It's an oath I took. It's interestingly the same oath that people take when they're elected to office. I wish more of them took it seriously and understood what they meant when they take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I think it's important for us to understand this idea of being bomb throwers, being zealots who it's my way or the highway, that's craziness. Government is about negotiation. Government is about compromise, but not one's principles. And not the things that are in the wrong direction for this country.